Hi, Sarah Vela and Abby Rose. So this question's a little bit wonky, but I think you're gonna get it.
Are you making fun of me?
Absolutely not, Senator. So my name is Hannah Sassaman, and I'm a community organizer. I'm the policy director at Media Mobilizing Project right here in Philadelphia. And I'm a community organizer who's worked at the intersection of race, economic justice, and technology my entire adult life. So right here in Philly, our city is working to replace money bail with a computer program, a risk assessment algorithm that tries to predict who is safe to release pre-trial and who has to stay in jail to supposedly protect the community. But as Michelle Alexander wrote, this is the newest Jim Crow. That is cooking bias from a racist system of policing and prosecution into a chain of ones and zeros. How would you, Senator, end mass incarceration without turning to algorithms like that one, or to electronic monitors, facial recognition software, or surveillance to make sure that we don't replace prisons and detention with ecarceration for Black, brown, immigrant, queer, and poor communities?
So, I'm a huge fan of Michelle Alexander's work. And one of the things she points out in her book is kind of the front-to-back quality of our mass incarceration system. That it starts on the front end with what we make unlawful. It then works its way through the judicial system, including the cash bail system that basically penalizes people for being poor, penalizes them for being Black, penalizes them for being brown, penalizes them for being queer, goes after them for anything that stands out. It's also a system that then locks people up for profit, and at the end, even after people have served, destroys their opportunities to be able to reintegrate into their communities, to be able to get housing, to be able to get a job, any part of this. So when we talk about how we're going to change and reform the criminal justice system, it really needs to be front to back. And it needs to be a conversation that is about race, that is about gender, that is about sexual identity, that is about all the pieces. We have data, for example, that show us that for Blacks and whites who commit exactly the same crime, not slight differences, exactly the same crime, Blacks are more likely to be arrested, more likely to be arraigned, more likely to be taken to trial, more likely to be convicted at trial, and more likely to receive higher sentences. It's study after study after study that tells us we have a criminal justice system that does not meet what is engraved above the Supreme Court of the United States, equal justice under law. It is a system that tilts in favor of a few and against the many, who are lost and who are destroyed by that system. So, when we think about pieces on how to change, part of it is we're going to have to look at this and break it apart, because we've got a lot. So, for example, I strongly support making marijuana legal. And a reason for that is not just for those of you who think it's fun, not just for the mellow folks in the back, or the folks with all the cookies over there, but also just to understand how race intersects that very question. That the best data show that African Americans and whites use marijuana at about the same rates, but African Americans are about 3 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana use. So, easy answer for me, make it legal and then that problem goes away.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of places where we have to come into the system, and I particularly, since you started it, want to talk about the question about cash bail. We need to get rid of the cash bail system. We need significant reform in this area. But we can't replace it with another system that treats Blacks and whites differently, that treats the LGBTQ community differently from straight, that treats transgender differently and singles them out. Because here's the problem. You put in a bunch of data that have already been influenced by race and by gender, by age. You put those into the system, and surprise, surprise, turn the crank twice, and that's exactly what comes out of the system on the other side. So I'm in on reformation. We got to reform this whole system. I'm big on understanding the data as we go through it. And the third part, and this is where I'm so glad to hear that you're doing community organizing on this, is as we design a better criminal justice system, it can't just be a handful of folks who go behind closed doors and make this happen. It's got to be that we hear directly and from the communities that are affected, and not just hear, but integrate with the communities that are affected so that people are able to bring their own stories, their own voices into this. So I've started part of this. So for example, I have said we need to get rid of all for-profit prisons. Nobody should be making a profit of locking people up. But there's a whole lot more coming in this plan, and I hope we're going to be able to work together on it. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.